Principles of sports nutrition.
Muscle dysmorphia, a rather bizarre and exotic condition of the mind that, in my opinion, is similar to anorexia nervosa. Both are extremely complex, associated with emotions and deep-seated issues that are often hidden within the subconscious mind. Dr. Harrison Pope, a psychiatrist at Harvard's McLean Hospital and author of The Adonis Complex, The Secret Crisis of Male Body Obsession, describes a psychiatric condition called muscle dysmorphia. Dr. Pope states, unlike typical patients with body dysmorphic disorder, who are usually concerned with a special body part, persons with muscle dysmorphia are pathologically preoccupied with the appearance of the body as a whole. They are concerned that they are not sufficiently large or muscular. Their lives become consumed by weightlifting, dieting, and associated activities. Consequences of dysmorphia include profound distress about having their bodies seen in public, impaired social and occupational functioning, and abuse of anabolic steroids and other drugs. Now, among men, a subclassification of dysmorphia exists called bigorexia, which is the opposite of anorexia. People with bigorexia are driven to do things such as repeatedly check their appearance in the mirrors and perform ritualistic movements. I mean, this sounds like a lot of guys in the gym, and perhaps there's an element of this in myself and other people who like themselves and like the way they look and want to maintain a beautifully, aesthetically pleasing physique. I think the difference between actually being classified as bigorexic and having a healthy esteem of oneself and one's appearance is the extent to which you take this phenomenon and how it affects your health and social behavior. As a general rule, any thought process or action that leads to your own demise that causes harm to self or others is unacceptable, considered to be irrational, and against in purpose or fundamental principle the modus operandi or objective of life itself, which is to what? Live or die. It could be argued that an individual who completely lets themselves go, who has not a concern whatsoever for their appearance, their state of wellness, their state of health, their risks of cancer, heart disease, diabetes in relation to their behavior, it could be argued that this individual is as guilty as the same kind of paranoia or psychiatric state of mind as the other individual in the other extreme. Let's keep in mind the bell curve. We take ourselves on one side on the left in whatever state we're in as deficient and lacking. We go up the curve towards the center in the middle. That's the best place to be. That's where the celebration of life is. That's where health-minded consciousness exists. But as we continue along the curve on the other side to the right, we become excessive, toxic to ourselves and other people, and we have the same symptoms as those with the deficiency. It's very interesting with vitamin and mineral chemistry that if you're lacking iron or magnesium, you're insufficiently sustaining yourself, or you have a massive deficiency of one element, the symptoms are very similar to those that are caused by taking too much of the same mineral or vitamin. So we have to find middle ground. And I think that weight training in itself obviously is neither good nor bad. It's something that can be done as a behavior to enhance health and improve our resistance to disease and sustain the kind of physique and function and athletic performance that is associated with optimizing health. We know that a fitter individual compared to the same individual or a clone that's not as fit has an edge, has an advantage. We also know that optimum nutrition is better than undernutrition or malnutrition. So we have to define these things ourselves. We have to come to terms with our individual genome, our state of mind, what we're doing, why we're doing it, what the purpose of life is. And I think that ultimately what I've seen in individuals is that they have control issues. There are things about life and other people or their parents or their past they cannot control. So what they do is they grab their own horse by the reins, their own bull by the horns. And what they do is they take themselves to a very aberrant state, which everyone else can see except sometimes themselves. And we look at them as being very weird and strange. But we have to connect the dots back to our own mind and say to ourselves, what is it about these individuals that I see in myself or see in the human condition? And how would I go about trying to help this individual in this state? And what must they do to change themselves? Because we all know that we can't change anyone. They have to reach deep within themselves, make the necessary changes, greet the change, embrace the change, and then facilitate the change. And of course, that is about getting the support, insight, and knowledge through education and social support of people who care enough to help you through that dire strait, to help you lift yourself out of the hole that we all dig ourselves into, and ultimately have an opportunity to make our lives better. It was Jean-Paul Sartre that said, hell is other people. But it's important to keep in mind that other people includes yourself.